Live now, sir.
Hari Om. Namaste to all. Namaste to all. Prostrating at the lotus feet of Brahmanishta, Shotriya Sadguru Swami Virajeshwara Saraswati and the entire Guru Parampara on behalf of all of us, today's discourse on Viveka Chudamani will continue. And repeatedly, I'll be reminding that this discourse is mainly based on the commentary, Vyakhyana, Bhashya, given by Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal of Sringeri Sharada Peeth. Hari Om. Om Sri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Sri Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krudav Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmiham. Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya. Hari Om. We had stopped at the verse number, fairly larger one with 4 charanas, verse number 452 last time, and from 453 verse number, today's discourse will continue. Again, what we are seeing here is Acharya, Sri Shankara Bhagavatpada is giving out the highest level information, the most secret information on Prarabdha, or what we commonly call as the destiny of an individual from birth to death. When the birth actually occurs, what we call is destiny, the unknown aspects of the future life, what is going to happen tomorrow. So there is Prarabdha. How the Prarabdha takes over the entire life. And repeatedly, he is giving a lot of information, which may not be very easy for us to understand. What Acharya is talking here on Prarabdha may not be so easy for us to understand. That is a point here. That is a point. So, however much we are careful to listen, still some of the points will never enter into our mind. So, before I come to the next shloka here, I want to repeat, by the grace of Sadguru, that from our simple standpoint of view, from our modern, mundane, logical, mental standpoint of view, how much we can understand, how much we can assimilate. In simple, we have to remember that Prarabdha, the word, it means all that we are going to face, experience in this life, till death, good things and bad things, sukha and dukkha, the pain and the pleasures, all that we are going to experience, all that we are going to be affected with, constitute the sum total of what is called Prarabdha. And we cannot escape from that. In the normal sense, in our normal vocabulary, what we can understand, we cannot escape because, very simple point, we cannot decipher the future. What is going to happen 1 hour later, 6 hours later, 24 hours later, 1 week later, 1 month later, 1 year later, exactly, we cannot decipher. we cannot understand, we cannot even have a glimpse of the future of our own life. ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಬಹಳ ವಿಶದವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ ಕ್ಷಣದಿಂದ ಮರಣ ಬರುವವರೆಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ಯಮಾನಗಳು, ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯ ಅನುಭವಗಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು. ಸುಖ, ದುಃಖ, ನೋವು, ನಲಿವು, ಸಂಕಟ, ಯಾತನೆ, ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ರೀತಿಯ ಸಂಗತಿಗಳು, ಇಷ್ಟಾನಿಷ್ಟ ವಿಷಯಗಳು, ಪ್ರವೃತ್ತಿಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲಕ್ಕೂ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು. ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅನುಭವಿಸಿಯೇ ತೀರಬೇಕು. ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧಂ ಕಲು ಬಲವತ್ತರಂ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ರು ಹಿಂದೆ. ಅನುಭವಿಸಿಯೇ ತೀರಬೇಕು, ಬಹಳ ಬಲವಾದದ್ದು. ಈ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ವಿಶದವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಬಿಫೋರ್ ವಿ actually go into the next shloka in Viveka Chudamani, there is a pertinent question for me, and they need the answer for this question before we proceed further. Whatever little I know from my Gurudev, I will try to explain that. The question is, why do Mahatmans, why do Siddha Purushas, or why do Brahmajnani, why do Atmajnani suffer from prarabdha? Since they are already enlightened, they have become realized, they have entered into the phase of Atma Sakshatkar or Brahma Sakshatkar. Why do the Jnanis, Mahatmans, Siddha Purushas, Brahmavits still have to endure their prarabdha? Why? Already they are realized. They have become enlightened masters. They have become realized masters. Then why they should endure this prarabdha? So that is the question. ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳಿಗೆ, ಮಹಾತ್ಮರಿಗೆ ಭಗವತ್ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ಆದಂತಹ, ಆತ್ಮ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ಆದಂತಹ ಮಹಾನ್ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳಿಗೆ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವಿದರಿಗೆ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಇದೆ? ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಯಾಕೆ ಇದೆ? ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಮೀರಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ತತ್ವವನ್ನ ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಪರತತ್ವದ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಲೆ ನಿಂತವರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಯಾಕೆ ಇದೆ? ಇದೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. The answer, as was told last time, please let me recollect. You go back to the last week's discourse, the last previous discourse. There was a point repeatedly, I think I have mentioned. Yes, even Mahajnanis, Paramapurushas, Mahatmans, they suffer. They suffer due to prarabdha. That is how it appears to us. For example, as was told last time, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi had the cancerous growth in the left upper arm region. Cancerous growth. And twice operation was conducted. In spite of he negating, requesting his disciples not to bother too much about his body, still they insisted and the operation was conducted. And according to the doctors during those times, maybe their contention was this ultimately led to the death of his body. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, one of the greatest seers of our Indian philosophy, Guru of Sri Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda, even he had this throat cancer. Nisargadatta Maharaj had a throat cancer, who suffered with that. Coming to my own example, what our Gurudev was talking, my Gurudev was talking in detail about his Guru in Rishikesh, Swami Vidyananada Saraswati, a great realized master. Swami Vidyananda ultimately came down to Rishikesh, entered a Divine Life Society or Shivananda Ashram established by Swami Shivananda, and he was given direct sannyasa by Swami Shivananda himself, our Paramaguru, Parameshwar Guru. And Swami Vidyananda, who stayed put in the Rishikesh Shivananda Ashram, never moved out of his room, with all the intense sadhana becoming a Brahmajnani, never moved out of the Rishikesh Ashram. And the last 2.5 years of his lifetime, he suffered with a paralytic stroke to the extent that he could not even move his limbs. He could not even get up from the bed. Total paralysis, quadriplegic paralysis. This is what I have not seen my Paramaguru, unfortunately. My Gurudev was with him and he used to tell me all the details. So he ended up with paralysis in the last days of his physical life, nearly 1.5 years to 2 years. And from the general standpoint of view, ultimately, he left his body with a paralytic stroke still. He took Mahasamadhi in Rishikesh. So, like this, if we look into the life history of Mahatmans, it's so common that they have suffered through the prarabdha. It looks they have suffered. Even if we take the example of our Shankara Bhagavatpada, Acharya himself, 1,200 years before, in the last days, as all the authentic biography of Acharya Shankara, they agree with one point that he lived on the earth only for the 32 years. Very short life. And later, he disappeared in the Kedarnath region. But in the last days of Adi Shankaracharya, his own biography, Madhaviya Shankara Vijaya, authentically it is declared, it is noted down that all of a sudden, for so many months, Acharya Shankara suffered from what we call now in the present modern language, the severe form of fistula of the piles. He suffered from the severe onset of fistula, where the colon region gets broken down, a lot of blood will seep out into the perianal area, and through the anus, the blood also will come out. Colon portion, large intestine portion, gets completely swelled due to infection, and it cracks open, bursts open. That's what is called fistula. And it is excruciating pain. Even while defecating, so much pain body has to endure, and too much of bleeding occurs through the anus. Doctors will tell you what is fistula. So in those days, in the Ayurvedic sense, that disease was termed as Hagandara Roga. Hagandara. Acharya suffered from that silently, with all the agony. Even when he used to sit or squat on the mattress to give discourses, Upadesha, even his the lion cloth, the ochre robes at the back used to be soaked in blood. This is the example for Acharya Shankara's body. Because he suffered. Now, all such examples are there. Each one itself is a big example to deal with. I'm not going into depths of these examples. Point is, ಮಹಾತ್ಮರು ಸಹ ತಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧದ ದಿಸೆಯಿಂದ ಅನೇಕ ರೀತಿಯ ಸಂಕಟಗಳನ್ನ, ಯಾತನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಅವರ ದೇಹ ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದೆ. ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧದಿಂದ ಯಾರು ಹೊರತಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಲೆಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಾತ್ಮರ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲೂ ಸಹ ಅವರ ಶರೀರ ಅನೇಕ ವಿಧವಾದ ರೋಗಗಳಿಂದ ವ್ಯಥೆಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಅವರಿಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ? ಮಹಾತ್ಮರಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಯಾಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ as Acharya puts in, already explained. ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧಂ ಬಲವತ್ತರಂ ಖಲು ವಿದಾಂ ಭೋಗೇನ ತಸ್ಯ ಕ್ಷಯಃ. previous 452 ಶ್ಲೋಕ. Starting line itself I am quoting what was told last time. Acharya himself says, prarabdham balavattaram khalu vidam bhogena tasya kshayah. Vidam means Brahmajnani, Atmajnani, realized masters. Vidam bhogena tasya kshayah. Only by going through the aspects of their suffering of the body in the form of disease, they have to experience completely. Then only that prarabdha, that disease, that suffering ultimately will subside only after experiencing. There is no other way. Even for a Vida, Vida means here, Vidam means Jnanis. Acharya says, prarabdham balavattaram khalu vidam bhogena tasya kshayah. Balavattaram khalu prarabdham. See, this prarabdha is so strong. It is such a big knot from which we cannot escape. We have to face the music, as was told every time. When things are there, we have to suffer, means we have to suffer. Nobody can escape. So even an enlightened person will not escape. The reason is, the prarabdha refers to the body, to the physical body, with the antakarana chatushtaya complex, the body with the mind complex, the body with ego-mind complex. So prarabdha is for the body, ego and mind. In the real sense, prarabdha is for the mind or ego, ahankara. See, I feel I am suffering. I experience the pain, total pain, when there is an incurable disease, when there is a horrible disease devouring the body, when there is a horrible situation suddenly cropped up in my life, I suffer. I means here the ego and the mind. So the mind or the ego suffers. So the body suffers. This is because the very birth itself is due to prarabdha. This human birth has occurred in order to experience a set known amount of karma shesha from the baggage of sanchita karma. From the baggage of sanchita karma, some karmas have to yield the fruit in this birth. Whatever I have done previously, I have to repay back. I have to face. Good and bad things I have done previously in the last births, previous birth. Some of them are selected in this birth to yield the fruits. ಹೋದ ಜನ್ಮಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ ಪಾಪ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು, ದುಷ್ಕರ್ಮಗಳು, ಪುಣ್ಯ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು, ಸತ್ಕರ್ಮಗಳು, ಅವುಗಳ ಫಲಗಳಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅನುಭವಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ದುಷ್ಕರ್ಮ ಮತ್ತು ಸತ್ಕರ್ಮದ ಫಲ ಈ ಜನ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಭಗವಂತ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಬಹಳ ಸರಳ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಈ ಜನ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲವು ದುಷ್ಕರ್ಮದ ಸತ್ಕರ್ಮದ ಫಲಗಳನ್ನ ಈ ದೇಹ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಅನುಭವಿಸಿಯೇ ತೀರಬೇಕು. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ತಪ್ಪಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ. So even in the case of a jnani, Brahmajnani, same logic holds good, same law of karma holds good. Our Gurudev was very beautifully, he was summarizing all these things with me on so many occasions. He said, every body has to undergo the effects of prarabdha. Even a jnani, his body has to undergo the effects of prarabdha, good and bad. That is law of karma. That is law of karma. The only difference, my Gurudev used to tell, the only difference is, since we have identified with our body, Sharirabhiman, I am so and so. I means my ego is identifying with the body, my physical body, my status. So I feel I always suffer. I weep. I suffer. I become restless due to the bad effects in my life. Whereas a jnani, since he is devoid of the superimposition or upadhi, since he considers by the virtue of direct experience that he is no more the body and upadhis, he himself is a witness to his own body actions. He himself is a witness to his own, the behavior of sense organs. He is a witness to his own mind, his own buddhi, and he knows that he is beyond the buddhi, he is beyond the ego. Ahankara nasha has occurred, the ego has been destroyed, the mind is purified, it has become Shuddha Sattvika mind. So he remains as a witness. At the Atmic level, always he remains as Atmanishtha. Brahmanishtha means Atmanishtha. He reposes himself in the self. He never considers himself as a body. He will be seeing his body like anybody else looking at his body. That means body is suffering due to some incurable disease, let us say. But he is detached from the feeling of suffering. Suffering is there to the body, not to him. That is a point. So, jnani or a Mahatman looks like for the onlooker that he is suffering from an incurable disease. He is suffering from certain bad happenings in life. Certain bad patches are there in the life. But he is no more connected with that. He is not involved with that. How to further explain this? I have no idea. That is why Acharya says, prarabdha is really, indeed, very a strong force. Even for a jnani, the prarabdha is there for his body, physical body. And he has to finish it only by total experiencing that. He will not wish away. Though there are some siddhis accrued in the hands of Mahatmans, Siddha Purushas, in no time, with the help of the miraculous siddhis and powers, they can wish away the prarabdha. But jnanis will not interfere. They will not use the siddhis or the powers for the benefit of their own body. No. These humergetic powers, they are least bothered to show off. Only ajnanis will show off their powers. Once one or two small powers when they obtain due to meditation techniques, some siddhis will accrue. And with the help of those siddhis, now they try to become more popular among his devotees. And they get entangled in this Maya, in this world of Maya, and their spiritual downfall will come. Those people who go on exhibiting their powers, miraculous powers, miracles, for their own sake, to popularize themselves, to get a name and fame, means spiritually they have gone down. A real spiritual master will never show off his powers or siddhis. Even though he is capable of curing himself, he will not cure himself from any dreaded disease, because he knows that the body has to undergo the prarabdha, it has to experience, then only it will be finished. They know that very well. If you wish away with the help of some siddhi, some bad patch in your life, then what happens? That will become a root cause for the next birth again. This is our Gurudev was telling me very vehemently. If there is some incurable disease, suffering in the life, if you wish away with the help of siddhi, power, suddenly you become totally cured permanently. What happens? My Gurudev used to tell me. You have used the powers for the sake of your own body. That means you are identifying with the body. Your ahankara is there, still not gone. That means you have not elevated yourself. That means you have not totally become realized. So you have used the power to fulfill your own desire. That means again there will be another birth, next birth, to end up, to continue the life. So you will not be escaping the cycle of birth and death. So whatever prarabdha is there, the unfavorable condition to be experienced, it has to be experienced now itself in this birth, so that it is not carried over to next birth. If it has to be carried over, what happens? There will be next birth again. That means this will not be your last birth. You will never be enlightened in this birth at all. This is what my Gurudev used to tell me. That is how he used to tell me, enjoy all your prarabdha. Enjoy your suffering. It will go when it has to go. It will remain till the time is there. So don't bother about the prarabdha. He used to tell me, enjoy your suffering. In that, don't wish away. All that you have to suffer, suffer now itself. The best example, Gurudev, why he used to tell me, I am telling you. Right in 1983, this Nagaraj Padaki's body suffered in an accident and ended up with slip disc, injured disc. So that unable to sit for a long time, unable to walk for a long time, even now, at the age of 76. There is excruciating pain in the body all the time. It relapses, the body relapses itself, and the body gets stuck on the bed for 3-4 weeks, constantly, unable to get up, do any work. That is the effect of the slip disc, as commonly doctors call it, or disc prolapse, as they call it, injured disc, as they call it, in the lumbar region, in the back side. It happened in 1983. Now it is 2022 year. My Gurudev told me, enjoy your suffering, don't bother. If he really wanted, he would have cured my disease, or this defect. And he knows, and I also know, by his grace, that it is due to the prarabdha in this body, in this birth. So in this birth, the body has to suffer for the last 40 years, maybe till the last days of the body's lifetime. So let the body suffer. That's what Gurudev told. Enjoy your suffering, don't bother. Let it be finished in this birth. Let it not be carried over to the next birth. If he really wanted, he would have blessed me in such a way that this the pain would have gone long back. The severe low back pain would have gone long back. Neither I wanted it, nor he blessed. He simply said like, enjoy your suffering. Let it be finished in this birth. Completely exhaust your karmas. Let there be no more karmas left to be carried over to the next birth. Let this be the last birth. That's what he said. So, jnanis are not bothered to shortcut the physical pain, mental pain, whatever it is, due to severe defects and diseases pertaining to the body by using their powers. No. They willfully allow their body to suffer and complete the cycle of the prarabdha in this birth itself. I'll give you one more example to understand. When Mother Srimati Alagamma, mother of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, ultimately when she took her last breath in the evening in the Ramanashram, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi was sitting on the couch near her body, holding her hand. From one of his hands, he was holding her hand, and with another hand, he was tapping her head. So, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's one hand was on the head region of Mother Alagamma, and with another hand, he was holding her, one of the hands. And she was almost unconscious. Final throngs of the, the heavy breathing was there, and, the prana sanchara was about to go away. The death was about to take over the body, and peacefully she died on the bed with Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi sitting on her side. Later, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi told his close disciples that my mother Alagamma actually had 7 more births, 7 more human births. As per her prarabdha, as per the divine plan, she had to endure 7 more human births. And consequentially, all the ups and downs connected with the future 7 births. And her sanchita karma, bag of karma, would have continued to swell. So I totally cut off all the future 7 births of my mother, so that this became her last birth. And she got totally realized. She became Brahmibhuta, he declared. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi declared that his mother became a Brahmibhuta. Videha Mukti occurred to mother. No more rebirth. So he ordered to install Matrubhuteshwara Linga. Her body was, interred in a Bhusamadhi, over which a Linga was placed. And now it is a big temple called Matrubhuteshwara temple in the complex of Ramanashram. These things are there. So jnanis also will undergo prarabdha. That means their body will undergo, they will not interfere with their own body. They know, let the body suffer to finish off the prarabdha. This was the point. Now, next we will continue with shloka. Upaditadatma vihina kevala brahmatmanaivatmani tishtato munehe prarabdha sadbhava kathana yukta swapnartha sambandha katheva jagrataha. Upadhi tadatmya vihina kevala brahmatmanaivatmani tishthato mune prarabdha sadbhava kathana yukta swapnartha sambandha katheva jagratah. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಉಪಾಧಿಗಳ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ದೇಹ, ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮನಸ್ಸು, ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಬುದ್ಧಿ, ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥವನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಈ ಉಪಾಧಿಯ ಸಂಘ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ, ಶರೀರಾಭಿಮಾನ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ, ದೇಹಾಭಿಮಾನ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ, ಕೇವಲ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಭಾವದಲ್ಲೇ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಮುನಿ ಅವನು ಹೇಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಅನುಭವಿಸಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡಿರ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಕನಸಿನಿಂದ ಎಚ್ಚೆತ್ತುಕೊಂಡ ಮೇಲೆ, ಕನಸಿನಿಂದ ಹೊರಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೂ ಕನಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡಂತಹ ದೃಶ್ಯಗಳಿಗೂ ಏನಾದರೂ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಸಂಬಂಧ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡಂತಹ ದೃಶ್ಯಗಳು, ಅನುಭವಗಳು ಕನಸಿಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಾಯ. ಎಚ್ಚೆತ್ತ ಮೇಲೆ ಜಾಗೃತ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಕೇವಲ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಭಾವದಿಂದ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ, ಮುನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಇದೆ ಎಂಬ ಮಾತು ಯುಕ್ತ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಸದಾಕಾಲ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಭಾವದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ, ದೇಹಾಭಿಮಾನವನ್ನ ಮೀರಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ, ಆಚಾರ್ಯರ ಅಪ್ಪಣೆ. So what Acharya says here with an example, prarabdha sadbhava kathana yukta swapnartha sambandha katheva jagrata, with this example, last two chapters. So when a person wakes up from a dream, completely, when he wakes up from a dream, he is no more connected with the dream sequence after he wakes up. Common sense, common knowledge. So whatever experience we have in the dream will become null and void once we wake up. Once we wake up from the dream, whatever happened in the dream, nothing to do with the present life, Jagrata Avastha, common sense. So like that example, Acharya says, Upadhi tadyatma vihina kevala brahmatmanaivatmani tishthato mune brahmatmani eva atmani tishthato mune brahma atmana eva atmani tishthato mune. So the Brahmavid, Brahmajnani, the Muni, the sage who is solely established in himself in Brahmajnana, solely established himself in the self, solely established himself in the Atma, Brahman, Parabrahmavastu, who is devoid of any upadhi, who is beyond Sharirabhimana, who doesn't identify anymore with his body, mind complex. Totally, he is totally established in the Brahma Padartha. He is totally established in the self. He knows that he is a self himself. He knows by first hand that he is Atma Swarupa himself. For such a Jnani, such a Muni, for such a sage, it is not correct to speak of Prarabdha. It is not at all correct to speak that he has got Prarabdha. Prarabdha sadbhava kathana yukta. How? He gives an example. Swapnartha sambandha katheva jagrata. Just like once you wake up from a dream, you have nothing to do with the sequence of the dream. You are nothing to do with the events happened in the dream. Whatever events occurred in the dream, they will not bind on you when you wake up, because it's only a dream. It's went, it's gone. things happen in the dream only, we say. Nothing to do with our day-to-day routine life. Even if you dream that you have killed somebody in a dream, after you wake up, nobody is going to arrest you because you killed somebody in the dream. So the dream sequence is nothing to do with your waking up state. This is the example Acharya gives. So, just like a man not at all connected with the dream sequence after waking up, a Brahmajnani who is a devoid of the Upadhi, who is no more identifying with his body-mind complex, who always remains steadfast in his own self as Atma Swarupa, it is not correct to say that he has got prarabdha. Brahmatma naivatmani tishtato made prarabdha sadbhava kathana yukta. It is not correct, Acharya vehemently says. It is not correct to say that a jnani has prarabdha. Prarabdha may be there for the body. That is what he means, Acharya. For him, for a jnani, there is no prarabdha. He is very clear. Acharya is very clear here. So don't say that a jnani has a prarabdha. Why? At the highest level, you have to enter into his level. You have to become a jnani to understand another jnani. So all jnanis are one only. Ekam eva advitiyam, for the argument's sake. Please remember, if you become a jnani, then you will know that no more you have identified yourself with the body. So where is the prarabdha? To you there is no prarabdha. You are a jnana bandara. You are satyam jnanam anantam brahma. You are satyam jnanam anantam brahma. So where is the prarabdha to you? That's what Acharya says. From the highest standpoint, Acharya is telling his disciple, look, my dear disciple, prarabdha, as it is told in the Upanishads, is only to denote that it is there for the body, for the sthula sharira and sukshma sharira, body and mind complex. The ego, the mind experiences the pains and pleasure. So you can say prarabdha is there to the body and mind complex, but not to Atma. Not to the Atma, not to the Parabrahma Vastu. Once you identify that you are that reality, you are that only, where is the prarabdha? To you there is no prarabdha. So these are the points subtly he is hammering. Acharya is hammering again and again to make the points very clear, very, very, very clear. Next, he continues. Nahi prabuddha pratibhasadehe dehopayoginyapi cha prapanche karotyahanta mamata midanta kintu swayam tishtati jagarena nahi prabuddha pratibhasadehe dehopayoginyapi cha prapanche karotyahanta mamata midanta kintu swayam tishtati jagarena. Swayam tishtati jagarena. Keywords, the fourth line, fourth charana in the shloka. Swayam tishtati jagarena. He always remains awake. Always remains awake. Now, what Acharya says here? Nahi prabuddha pratibhasa dehe dehopayogini apicha prapanche karoti ahantam mamatam idantam kintu swayam tishtati jagare. Prabuddha pratibhasa dehe dehopayogi yogini apicha prapanche nahi karoti ahantam mamatam idantam. These are the points. How to split and act. Prabuddha means the one who has woken up to reality. In our language, one who has woken up from the dream. ಸ್ವಪ್ನದಿಂದ ಎಚ್ಚೆತ್ತುಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವನಿಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತನ್ನ ನಿಜ ಸ್ವರೂಪವನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವನಿಗೆ, ಮಾಯೆಯಿಂದ ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ತಾನು ದೇಹ, ತಾನು ಶರೀರ, ಈ ಜಗತ್ತು ಸತ್ಯ, ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥವನು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಈ ಮಾಯೆಯಿಂದ ಎಚ್ಚೆತ್ತ ಮೇಲೆ ತನ್ನ ನಿಜ ಸ್ವರೂಪವನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥಕೊಂಡ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಹಾಗೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನದಿಂದ ಎಚ್ಚೆತ್ತುಕೊಂಡಿರೋನು ನಂತರ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತನ್ನ ದೇಹದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಗಲಿ, ದೇಹಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತಹ ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಗಲಿ, ವಿಷಯ ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಗಲಿ ನಾನು, ನನ್ನದು, ಇದು ಎಂಬ ಭಾವನೆಯನ್ನು ಆತ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನಾವಸ್ಥೆ ತಲುಪಿದ ಜ್ಞಾನಿ ತನ್ನ ದೇಹದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅತಿಯಾದ ಮಮಕಾರ, ಅಹಂಕಾರವನ್ನ ಪೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ತೆಗೆದುಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ನಾನು, ನನ್ನದು ಎಂತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಮಮಕಾರದಿಂದ ವರ್ಜಿತನಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ ಜ್ಞಾನಿ. ಜ್ಞಾನೋದಯ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಮಮಕಾರಗಳಿಂದ ದೂರ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ. ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥವನು, ಇಂಥವಳು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಹಂಕಾರ ನಾಶ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ನನ್ನದು, ನನ್ನದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಮಮಕಾರ, ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ನಾಶವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆತ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವರೂಪದಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಎಚ್ಚೆತ್ತುಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಜಾಗೃತನಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ತನ್ನ ಸ್ವರೂಪದಲ್ಲೇ ಸದಾಕಾಲ ಆತ್ಮರೂಪನಾಗಿ, ಆತ್ಮನಿಷ್ಠನಾಗಿ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮನಿಷ್ಠನಾಗಿ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಸದಾಕಾಲ ತನ್ನ ಸ್ವರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸದಾಕಾಲ ಆತ್ಮನಿಷ್ಠನಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಶರೀರ ಭಾವ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥವನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಅಹಂಕಾರದಿಂದ ವರ್ಜನಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಹಂಕಾರ ನಾಶ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಮನೋನಾಶ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಶುದ್ಧ ಸಾತ್ವಿಕ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಪರಿಶುದ್ಧ ಸಾತ್ವಿಕ ಮನಸ್ಸಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಭಾವದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ನಿರಂತರವಾಗಿ ತಾನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪನೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಆ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಸದಾಕಾಲ ಜಾಗೃತವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಸೊ ದಿ ಶ್ಲೋಕ Prabhuddha Pratipasadehe. Prabhuddha means the one who has realized, one who has realized, one who has enlightened himself, one who has realized his true nature, his own self. Prabhuddha Pratipasadehe Dehopayoginyapi cha prapanche nahi karoti ahamtam mamatam idantam. Nahi karoti ahamtam mamatam idantam. So Prabhuddha means a jnani. Once he becomes realized, he is no more interested. No more interested. He will not identify with his body-mind complex anymore. He is no more interested. He will not identify with his own body. Because he has awakened from this dream called Mithya Jagat. He has awakened, so he does not have the I concept, mind concept, this and that concept. He is beyond ahankara, mamakara, and this and that concept. Idam cha, adam cha concept. So the duality is lost, difference is lost. Ekameva advitiyam, Brahmatma ekatva bhava is set completely in the purified Shuddha Sattva mind. Ahankara, ego is gone. He has realized himself. So he will no more identify with the dream objects. So no more he identifies that I and mine concept, me and mine concept. He is beyond me and mine concept. Because Swayam Tishtati Jagarena. Because he always remains awakened. Prabuddha Swayam Tishtati Jagarena. Always remains awakened. Awakened. A jnani remains always awakened. Karoti ahamtam mamatam idantam into swayam tishtati jagarena. Jagarena, he is always awake. He is in the heightened, awakened state to the reality. No more he identifies himself with this anatma vastu or mrusha, the false thing known as a jagat. It is only he knows superimposed. There is no reality as such in this jagat at all. All the sentient, insentient things appearing are due to the effect of Maya. They are no more real. The reality is himself. Only on the substratum of the reality, everything is manifest. What is manifested, it has come from the Mula Sanatana Avyakta, Parabrahma Nirakara, Parabrahma Vastu. And he is that only. So no more he is enamored, no more he is fascinated by these worldly objects, the worldly things, me and mine concept, everything is gone. And he remains always awake. Awake spiritually. With the heightened knowledge of jnana, he remains awake means what? He is always, he knows that he is the Atma Swarup. He knows by first hand that he is a Brahma Swarup. He knows that he is the Parabrahma Swarup. He knows that he is no more the body. So he is not at all influenced, not at all hypnotized by the effects of worldly activities, by the enchanting worldly pleasures and worldly situations where he is put in. In whichever situation he is put, he is no more enchanted. No more he is spellbound because he has cut the Maya. This Maya called world, totally gone. So he remains awakened. Swayam tishthate jagarena. You remember, same point. Lord Krishna Paramatma in Bhagavatpada, 2nd chapter. Beautifully he summarizes. Very difficult for some to understand. The simplest of the simple shloka, profound shloka, where Lord Paramatma tells Arjuna in the 2nd chapter, please go through Bhagavad Gita, what he says to Arjuna in the 2nd chapter. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti sanyami. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti sanyami. Yasyam jagarti bhutani sa nisha pashyato mune. Yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato mune. Simple verbatim translation of the shloka, 2-line shloka and 2-line translation. Ya nisha sarvabhutanam ya nisha tasyam jagarti sanyam. That which is totally dark, night time, time of inactivity, time of inaction, time of sleep, in other words. The time which is total of inactivity for the living organisms. So when the living organisms are inactive and at the sleepy mode, sanyami, the jnani is always awake. Tasyam jagarti sanyami. Yasyam jagarti bhutani sa nisha pashyato mune. So, when the living organisms are active in the daytime, that becomes actually night time for a muni, for a sage, for a Brahmajnani. Muni here, Lord refers to a Brahmajnani. They realized. So, in short, what he says, Lord Krishna Paramatma, when the organisms become inactive and sleep during night time, The realized master is always awake. No more is enamored by this Maya. So when the animals, organisms are asleep, inactive due to night means, due to darkness means, they are in the mode of ajnana. So they're all bound by, spellbound by the Maya, and they are living in the mode of ajnana, nescience, ignorance, primal ignorance. So when animals are ignorant about their true nature, jnani is totally, he knows his true nature and he is awake in that sense. So when the animals, yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato. So when animals are awake in their worldly activities, day-to-day activities, means they are, when they are bound by Maya, bound by ignorance, bound by the Sharirabhimana, I am so and so, they are busy in their activities in life, influenced by Maya. So, yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato muni. Whereas the realized one will be sleeping. So when the animals are active in the daytime, it becomes a night time for the realized one. These are all beautiful wordplay by Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita. So the point always to remember again and again, how far this concept of prarabdha being understood or being explained, I don't know whether I'm doing any justice to this. All that is important, once again, to recap. For a jnani, there is no prarabdha as far as he is concerned. So some of the karmas he has to undergo, the effect has to be experienced. The effect has to be experienced. So his body-mind complex experiences the effects of prarabdha, but he will not experience anymore. He is devoid of that. So for a jnani, to him there is no prarabdha, but to his body there is prarabdha as long as the body lasts till the death devours the body. So marana barovarage jnaniya sharirakke prarabdha ide anta shruti heಳುತ್ತೆ. ಶರೀರ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಕರ್ಮಫಲದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಶರೀರಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧದ ಗತಿ ಇದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ, ಸ್ವಯಂ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ, ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಿದ್ಧನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧವಿಲ್ಲ. So what is ultimately to remember here is, from the highest standpoint of view of the jnana, dawn of the jnana, a jnani, once a person becomes realized, once a person becomes a mahajnani, brahmavida, brahmajnani, for him, all the baggages, sanchita karma is totally gone, lost, destroyed in a flash. The future, agami karmas in this birth, their effects destroyed in a flash. Both. But his body, still it survives, still his body is surviving. It has to undergo ups and downs due to prarabdha, so that will continue. So prarabdha is there for his body, not to him, not to him. So for us, onlookers, devotees, disciples, we look upon our master, maybe going through a bad patch, going through a suffering, going through a disease, incurable disease, unbearable pain, and we remain helpless. We simply watch. We cannot help. We cannot share his suffering, his body suffering, we totally become helpless. And we watch. It appears. But to him, to the jnani, to the realized master, to a great Brahmajnani, in the purest of the pure sattva guna pradhana, parishuddha sattva mind, purest of the pure mind, he has totally detached himself from the prarabdha of the body. So body may be suffering from pain due to the prarabdha, a disease, or any other bad events, effects due to prarabdha of the body, but he is not affected. He remains calm and quiet and serene and still. That is why Acharya, what he is talking here is, from the standpoint of a realized master, all the three, the effects of the karmas, sanchita karma, accumulated, prarabdha of this birth, and agami karma, the future karmas in this birth, all the effects are null and void for him, from his level, from his standpoint of level, null and void. They are gone. So, with this, we are stopping here at the shloka number 454 today by the grace of Sadhguru. Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Hari Om.